Hello everyone, in this video I'll be playing as Gale on Honor Mode. You might have to slow the initial build down. I won't be able to go through everything, but I'll kind of explain it as we use it here. But yeah, this is the build. We're stuck with Sage and Wizard as the starting points for this, but we can do the abilities and spells. So initially we're going to go with a very weird build that doesn't make a lot of sense. We're going to go with Strength and Intelligence here. For strength, we're going to get it up to 16. Dexterity, we'll put at 14. And intelligence, 14. Charisma, I think we kind of screw up here. So charisma we leave at 12 and constitution at 12, I think is the end point here. Yeah, and that gives us a good balance of things for what we need to do initially. We are going to have to rebuild this character later. Yeah, and if you consider that cheating, I understand. The starting spells have to be Long Strider, Featherfall, and Magic Missiles, and then we'll choose our Muscle Mommy, and we'll be off. So the way we're going to move around is with Enhanced Leap and Featherfall, and we'll just be able to jump around. So we do want to save us, so we try Investigation check first, and we fail that. And so then the backup for that is a Strength check. And fortunately we do get the Strength check. So Lae'zel is forced to join our team here, and I'll kind of explain the rules for solo honor mode, at least my rules. Any summon is okay, so we are allowed to use us, because his portrait appears to the right of the main character. Lae'zel is a separate companion, so she is not allowed to be used. So what I do is, for this first fight, I just have her stay back and do nothing while I finish the fight. And then I send Lae'zel on her way, and we'll continue on. So then we'll head to the escape, and I do skip a lot of stuff in this because I don't want to show everything. Like, this video is already going to be way longer than I want it to be. But this escape's pretty interesting. So the main thing here is this Hellboar is very annoying because he went before us. So we want to kind of get him out of our face, and that'll allow us to jump without an opportunity attack. We have Enhanced Leap on still, so we're able to jump and then loot the Mind Flayer here. On the next turn, we move up a little bit and trigger the cutscene. And if we move up far enough, we should just be able to jump over the top of everything and allow us to escape. I'll use the magic missile here to get a little bit of experience on the way out, but then we head out. On the beach, we'll make sure we jump up here and loot this chest. This always has, well, I knocked it over, but it always has a caustic bulb for us. And next we'll have our encounter with Gimblebok here. This can end the run, but it's a very low likelihood. Intimidation check is good, but the most important thing is that'll level us up. Next we'll jump down past Astarion, ignoring him, and we got lucky and passed the investigation check here, or nature check I should say, and we get a couple potions of speed. After that we'll continue to head on up until we get to the Grove fight, but first we'll level up. For level 2, we'll take Abjuration, and that's a key part of our build, and I'll kind of explain that at different points here, but Abjuration becomes extremely tanky, and it basically makes us unkillable at some point. Here we need to pick up Disguise Self as our 4th skill, and then we'll head out. Before we head into the Grove, we will grab the Guidance Necklace here. It's going to be very, very helpful. I think I'd left it out here, but I was able to skip the Grove fight by just jumping from the waypoint up. So that allowed us to do a little bit of a skip there. Once we're inside, there's a lot of things that happen here, but I'm leaving a ton of it out. The important thing here is we're going to jump on this roof and cast Mage Hand. Mage Hand will allow us to slap the Strange Ox up here for being strange. Give him a little unarmed strike. And this is our 3rd chance to recruit Shadowheart at this point, but she just absolutely annihilates our Mage Hand. And that triggers dialogue where we can access his inventory, and then we will be able to buy the Boon of the Shapeshifter, or whatever that ring's called, the Yeah. And now when we cast Disguise Self, which for some reason isn't in the wizard bar here, I had to double check that it actually existed, but I did put it on my custom bar so I can use it from there. We'll go and use it with Drow for later, but that gives us a 1d4 bonus on all of our checks to go along with the 1d4 that we get from the Guidance Necklace, the Silver Pendant. We try to pass this check here, and the Perception check will allow us to sneak in to talk to Mole later. We don't need to do that right now. We need to help one of these tieflings first. Sylphie, we catch Sylphie stealing, and we're nice, and that will actually allow us to talk to Mole. You don't have to help all of the tiefling kids, just one. And now we'll just promise to steal the idol from Mole, and that will be very, very helpful later, actually. She gives us a good item. There's an Amulet of Sylvanas under here, so move the rock and grab that. We'll use that later. Yeah, next up we'll try to free Arabella. It's not vital for this run, but it's always nice. You get a little bit of experience, you get a reward that Gale can gobble up later. We do pass the check with a critical success, and things are looking good. All right, so now is a good time to talk about Inspiration. Inspiration is going to save us if rolls go bad, but Inspiration is based on your background. In our case, our background is Sage. So Sage has specific opportunities, and this is one of them. If we can pass all of these checks on the 4 plaques, we will get an Inspiration. And fortunately we do, so we get Gale is inspired here. And there's actually one more opportunity. If we sneak in behind this room, there's a chest that we can lockpick. And if we're able to lockpick it sneakily, we will get a book. And if we read that book, we will get another inspiration point, which we do here. And there's also a note in there which will progress the quest that'll eventually allow us to steal the idol. So read the note. I was trying to move the inventory out of the way so I could get to the note, but it wasn't working. Next up, we talk to Nettie, and we will steal the Mind Flayer specimen here. We're going to be heavily reliant on Mind Flayer parasites through this run. The gummy worms are good and very, very helpful. Speaking of that, we'll get a second gummy worm from this encounter here. There's no check you need to pass. Just say what happened to your brother, hold his stare, and then forget the owlbear is still alive. Go. Then you don't have a fight, you don't have a check. And we get another gummy worm from this one. Don't fight it, just take the gummy worms, and we're ready to continue. Next, we'll head into the owlbear cave. We do get the prayer sheet. The most important thing here is the potion of animal speaking, but I make a huge mistake here. I forget to drink it. If you drink it, this check is very easy. Just do the intimidation check for 10. Instead, I have to do an animal handling check, which is much harder. It's a 15, and I do hit it, fortunately, with my bonuses. And then all you have to say is just back away slowly. What this does is it triggers a thing on next long rest where the owlbear cub will appear at the Goblin Camp, and the goblins will have killed the mother, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll continue on now. Just back away. Don't get in a fight.
I told you to go.
Next, we'll talk to Scratch. I like the perception check. If this fails, you get another try. So I do the perception check first. Scratch is vital for this run. Do not miss Scratch if you're doing a solo run. He's absolutely necessary for one of the big fights, which we'll see later. Because we're a drow, we're allowed to get into this goblin camp without any encounter. Just use your drow checks. Next, we'll talk to Fezzerk. This one we do, even though we're drow, we still have to pass a check, but it's only a 5 intimidation check, so just use guidance, and it's pretty much guaranteed to get through. We'll go ahead and free Barkus Woot. If you don't care, you can yeet him into space. He's not necessary for this run, but we get some experience. It's helpful to have him around, so I'm nice to him. Now we level up, and for our spells, very important, we get Invisibility and Knock. Now, if we're lucky, we won't have to use either of them, but they are going to be important if we don't get lucky. So I make sure I have Invisibility and Knock as my prepared spells. We're not going to be doing any combat for a long time. Next check, we're going to just get right through with being a drow again. And here's our fourth and final recruit attempt for Shadowheart. We tell her to kick rocks and move on. Next up, since we drank the animal potion, now we can do the chicken chaser. Make sure you have 300 gold so you get more money from this. Talk to the chicken and just tell it to run through the posts. And that'll be an easy win. So chicken will run through the posts. And she'll tell you the race is done. And just use your drow check again to make her give you your money.
As the symbol glows.
Now we have another inspiration, a possibility for a book. This is the book that he stole from Volo. I like the persuasion check here. Intimidation check's not very good. So we'll do the persuasion check. And I avoid using friends a lot because it can cause aggro issues. So if I can avoid it, I will avoid it. Read that book and we get another inspiration. Now we have 3 inspiration points already, which is great. We are going to let the True Soul brand us. The brand will come in handy later. Gale is just going to let himself get absolutely mutilated here. Now we'll talk to Dror. And we failed the first wisdom check. This is important. We don't care about failing the first one. Critical failure. We care about failing the second one, actually. If we fail the second one, then it's bad. And of course we don't. Just kidding, we do fail the second one. So we have to use an inspiration. And we fail it again with another critical failure, so we use another inspiration. Very unfortunate, we had to waste 2 inspiration points there. We'll get some more, but that sucks. What did the killer want, and then why were they chasing that ship? Those are the safe options. And it prevents us from needing to do another dialogue check at the end here. Get a little more experience. I don't know if it's worth it. First build item is the Bow of Awareness. The Bow of Awareness gives us a little boost to our initiative. It gives us 1 to our initiative. Since it's a 1d4 roll, 1 actually makes a big difference. Now, we do drink the potion here, and we wake up in captured, but we get rescued by Corilla. We get another gummy worm, and we will continue on to the Underdark. There's a very simple puzzle here. It's really not that bad. And this puzzle gives Sage an inspiration, so, you know, we had to do it anyway, but we got an inspiration point for succeeding on that. That's nice. So now we'll head into the Underdark. And here we will throw a caustic bulb, the one we got from the chest, right here at the bottom of the stairs. And what this is going to do is when Raphael spawns in, he's going to spawn on the caustic thing and immediately disappear. So you saw him pop in and pop out. And that means he's going to talk to us later, which is important for what we're doing. Next, we'll head into the Myconid colony. I believe that's a pronunciation. Just be honest with them. And we'll use that Amulet of Sylvanas that we got to use a restoration on this poor little gnome here. And we promise to rescue her people. And she gives us the Boots of Speed, which is going to be basically a pass to get into the Grym Forge. So take the Boots of Speed and continue on. And now we'll head down to the beach. Very important here. Turn off your Disguise Self. For some reason, if you have Disguise Self on, you don't get the option to show the brand, and you have to pass a check, and it's very annoying. So take off Disguise Self. Just jump down here. The beach is really close to the Myconid colony. And hold your palms up in peace. We use the brand check to get past this. And then we just tell him that we have the boots, and he will tell us, go ahead and head to Grymforge. So now we're able to head to Grymforge without any issue. And when we arrive there, there's a lot to do here. This is one of the fun ones. If you can pass a check here, you're able to convince these spiders to leave, and they won't be involved in the fight, and you get a nice 160 EXP. And we get another level here. So for this, we need Minor Illusion. That's our 4th cantrip now. And these don't really matter that much. I don't even remember what I use here. Did I settle on Scorching Ray? Misty Step? Okay, that's fine. Prepared spells are fine. For our feet, very important for this, Alert. Alert is absolutely vital for a fight that we have coming up here. And actually a few fights. So now we convince these guys. Well, first we spot the corpses and
a shiny trinket on one of the corpses.
Pass a deception check. You can use friends here. This is a safe one to use friends on because they run away after this, so it doesn't matter. And these gnomes, one of them has a ring that gives us a free cast of invisibility, so we don't have to use our own spell slot on invisibility.
Don't lie.
And since we're here, we go ahead and pass this deception check with the elder here, and that will make him help us in our fight with Nere later. I use friends. Probably not necessary, but we did. And then we head out. I don't do this other persuasion check. It's not worth the risk. So we're not going to fight Nere for quite some time, but it's going to help us out. Next, we'll jump up, and we get this this robe here. It's a cool robe. It synergizes a little bit, but we're not going to really use it for very long. I'll just equip it for until we get our permanent chest piece. Yeah, the Spark Wall or whatever it's called. I always forget the name of that one. It basically gives us 1 AC when we have lightning charges, and it's going to synergize with the staff we'll get later. And now we'll head over and jump across here. And what we want from here is the skeleton up here has the shield mold. We need the adamantite shield for something coming up here. We can also get the rune powder barrel, which we'll use later. Just sneak jump behind her. And she doesn't blow you up after that. If you have a good pickpocket character, you can pickpocket her first. It's dangerous because if you get caught, she'll try to blow up the barrel and maybe blow you up. But you can get the vial and the barrel if you do it that way. Waypoint discovered at the Ancient Grimforge now. And I pick up this other mold for heavy. The heavy splint mail. We don't use it. We end up selling it later. But it's it's very valuable. Sneak jump down here. Be very careful about your positioning because, yeah, don't go around the tables there. There are imps or mephits here and they're going to attack you. So jump over, sneak, head back up. And then we're going to sneak jump to the other side here past these skeletons. And we'll have another opportunity to get another piece of mithril. So we have the shield mold, the heavy splint mold, and 2 pieces of mithril, which means we can craft 2 things here. So then head back up, and we'll head down to the Grim Forge, and we put in the mithril in either one of our items. I think I put the splint mold first, but we'll just do one at a time. And now, after you hit the hammer, it'll drop down, and then you just jump up here. And from up here, Grym cannot hit you at all. So it's almost perfectly safe with one little exception here. So what we do is we cast Minor Illusion, which draws him into position, and then we use an arrow. We shoot this lever, and then it drops the hammer down on him. And eventually you'll spawn a bunch of these mephits, and this is why we need an alert. We have to go before them. They're going to be surprised on the first turn, but we also don't get an opportunity to sneak on the first turn. So if they go before us, they'll see us before we can sneak. But now on our next turn, we'll actually be able to sneak, and then they'll ignore us because they can't find us. So we sneak and move anywhere, it doesn't really matter. As long as we're hidden, they will focus on Grym. If you're not hidden, you have lower AC than Grym, they're going to go after you. And I've lost runs because of that, so be very careful with that. Eventually, he will clear out all of the enemies, and we get back to using Minor Illusion. And sometimes the targeting is very odd. I find it's easier if you focus on Grym and then drag over. And eventually, yeah, we win the fight. So we get our first we get a Helm from Grym, which makes us immune to critical damage. We get armor from the Forge, which makes us immune to critical damage. And then we'll get a shield, which makes us immune to critical damage. So that'll give us 3 different options for preventing critical damage. The armor and the helmet are both heavy armor, so we have to make sure we're proficient. But yeah, we do get our shield as well. And because we're human, we have shield proficiency right off the bat, so I can immediately equip that, and I'm not going to take that off for a very, very long time. Next, I head down to Buol. Now, this is a tough check. It's a 20 check, but it is worth the risk because of how much experience we get. Just make sure you have some inspiration, and we do hit it on the first try, fortunately. As long as we get a... Well, we didn't even need anything. We got a terrible roll there. But yeah, we do get it on the first try. And very, very luckily. And we get 750 experience for that. And next we'll head up to the Arcane Tower. We equip that invisibility ring. And set up our jumps. And then cast invisibility. And since we're invisible, we will be able to get past these turrets without any fight. What we need to do is jump to the side here of the building and then just leap down on these mushrooms or whatever they are until we get to the bottom. Now at the bottom, I'm going to try to lockpick. If I don't have enough thieves tools or I fail too many times, I can use knock. But fortunately, I do get a dirty 20 right off the bat. Now we go grab the Susur Leaf, and we'll head in. I check here. There's a little possible mound to dig, but we fail to check, so we don't get the mound. We use the Susur Leaf to disable all of the turrets here, and that gives us freedom to roam through. First, we read the Threadbare book. That's very important. We'll pick up the Tongues of Madness from here. And the Timask Spores are next. Then we head up 2 floors and we read the Roads to Darkness book, another vital book. And the Roads to Darkness gets us past the first check, the Threadbare book gets us past the second, and we get the Light Ring. Now we'll head over here for another item, this Stool of Hill Giant Strength. We throw it. Sometimes it'll break when you throw it on the first go. It doesn't here, it survives. So we'll just whack it with a stick. And that will give us the Club of Hill Giant Strength, which is very handy. It just sets our strength to 19, so it'll let us jump a little bit further because we have one more tier of strength. And we throw on the light ring here, guiding light, and it will let us go down to the basement, and we get some loot down here. Nothing very important here, so there's a staff and some other stuff. We're going to head back to the Myconid colony and talk to Umalum. And he's going to have us make a potion and then drink it. You have these saving throws. They're not vital. You know, they just keep you from getting poisoned. Don't waste inspiration if you fail them. Just take it. We failed the first one, the easy one. The second one is harder with 15, so we try that, and we pass that one, so hey, there you go. This gives us the survival instinct thing. And now we buy a couple things. So we need Psychic Spark from Blurg. That will help our magic missiles, and then the Boots of Stormy Clamour. It helps us with damage riding. Next, we persuade Lump to help us out by giving us a horn. We're only going to use it one time. I ended up doing the harder check here. I should have done the easier one. It didn't really matter because we're only using them one time. But then we'll head into Anti-Ethels. And here's an experience opportunity. If you pass this investigation check, crouch, dash, go into turn-based mode, make sure she's not facing you at that time. Sneak back here just to the second step, and then sneak back out. If she catches you, it'll be a fight, and it's terrible. So we sneak out. Next, we'll go back to the Blighted Village, and we get the Shovel scroll down there. Cast Shovel. Shovel is a very cool character. He's very helpful to have. He can get you a lot of surprise rounds. Once you get past the mirror, if you're a spellcaster, talk to Shovel again, and he'll call you a Spellshite. And then he becomes a permanently available summon. I'll just throw the Necromancy of Thay out. It's kind of funny. You use turn-based mode to basically become like the Flash or Quicksilver. Just ignore all the traps, get out before they actually go off. And yeah, very, very easy to do that way. Finally, we're going to head up to the Risen Road, but before we cross the bridge, there's another inspiration opportunity down here. There's an investigation check, and we do pass it, so we get another inspiration point. Now we'll head up to try to rescue Counselor Floric, and pass the strength check, and I fail it. But don't waste an inspiration if you fail this. You can jump up. So over here, I'll show you. You just jump up here, and this will still allow you to get in. You just blast past this door here. And then you can rescue Counselor Floric that way. Head down, and you can get her out. Promise her that you rescued Duke Ravengard, and she will give you one of these choices. The best one for us, and almost always, is Spell Sparkler. Now we use Disguise Self to disguise ourselves as a Githyanki and go down to this encounter. Use the Deception check. I don't know if the Performance check is easier, but we'll use the Deception check. One of the key things here is, I've tried before and I don't know why, but Friends doesn't work for this. If someone can explain why Friends doesn't work, let me know in the comments. But we do pass on the first try, fortunately. It's only 15 compared to the 20 that we had with Buol, so... this is a huge amount of experience, and it causes us to hit level 5. Let's go. That's a huge power spike at level 5. We get access to much stronger spells, so we take Fireball and Haste. So next we'll go to this encounter with the Mud Mephits and the Wood Woads. We use Shovel to get a nice surprise round, and then with Gale we will use Lump's Horn to actually summon Lump. This area is near Auntie Ethel's house if you don't know where it is. Very important fight for us. So we'll use the horn to summon Lump and his crew. And our goal here is actually for them to fight each other and us to kind of stay out of the way. So I kind of stay out of the way for most of this fight. It's very close for who wins this usually. In this case, the Wood Woads actually won, but there's only one left. And I didn't want to take any chances. I knew I was going to rest after this, so I go ahead and blast him with Scorching Ray, and he is a toast. So grab the note from the crevice and make sure that you read it, because this will allow you to confront Kagha. Now, very important, you need Kagha on your side for this fight. This fight is exponentially harder if Kagha is against you. It's trivial if she's on your side. Don't use Friends because that can cause issues, so I'm just going to go for it here and hope for the best. And I do pass. This is worth using an inspiration on because Kagha is absolutely dangerous. Then we have to pass another check. This is silly. So we try the history check, I believe, here. If you mouse over, you can see which one's going to give you the best roll, but you don't know how high the difficulty class is by mousing over. Fortunately, it's only 10, and we do pass. And this makes the fight extremely trivial. Once the fight finishes, we talk to Kagha, and she agrees to stop the ritual. And now it's safe to actually go back and steal the idol. So for stealing the idol, I like to go down to the beach here where we got the amulet. There's only a bear down here and he's facing the wrong way. So then we take our mage hand and we actually fly up here. And we use the throw command and try to throw it towards ourselves on the beach here. And I'll throw it again to get even closer. They get mad at the mage hand, not me, but they don't aggro. If you try this while the ritual's going, this will aggro everything and they'll attack the tieflings and it's just a mess. Dismiss the summon, and now we're free to pick this up without any issues whatsoever. We can give the idol to Mole, and she's going to give us the Ring of Protection, which is +1 AC, +1 saving throws, and comes in handy. Now we head to the Goblin Camp, and we're going to tell Minthara where the Druid Grove is. This is going to trigger an awesome fight. This is my favorite way to deal with Minthara. She's going to head over there, allow her to read your thoughts, and just tell her where it is. And we'll just double cross her later.
And then we will be the first among her favorites. You and for.
Now we're gonna use Barrelmancy to take care of Dror, but I don't consider this cheese because this is a one-time thing. We have a rune powder barrel. It's a one-time thing. We're not gonna get another one, so I'm gonna use this one here. I feel like that's an acceptable use case. We're not grabbing it for every single fight. We're using it as a one-time thing. It's very important before we take care of Dror, we need to make sure that Minthara actually leaves. And there goes the rune powder barrel. Make sure you're very far away and very high up. The range is massive on that thing. We managed to get all but Dror himself and then one of these Acolyte dudes. The Acolyte guys are very trivial, so we'll just take care of him. He gets a little shove on us. What a jerk. We blast Dror with magic missiles, and then we hit Narvis with a firebolt, and we're all done. The Dror gives us another gummy worm. So I think we need one more gummy worm, and then we're going to be able to unlock the ability to use illithid powers.
We spotted goblins in the woods. What happened at their camp?
So after a long rest, talk to Zevlor, and he will tell you that he spotted them coming, and he tells you to move these barrels down. So this is also Barrelmancy, but this is literally a barrel tutorial fight. So it's also acceptable in my opinion. So we start the fight with Minthara with a bunch of barrels down. They put some barrels down there too. I didn't put those ones. We want to take care of this spider here. The two spiders are the scariest things in this fight. After they're down, everything's pretty easy here. We have the high ground. It becomes a very, very easy fight. I don't want to show the whole thing. Otherwise, we'd literally be here forever. Minthara completely bugs out when she's got no help left. She just stands there, and I keep trying to hit her with firebolts, and eventually we do get her down. And now we're able to absorb tadpoles and unlock illithid powers, which is fantastic. So the most important skill in the game for illithid powers is Cull the Weak. Cull the Weak makes it so that anytime an enemy has less health than the number of illithid powers you've unlocked, which maxes out at 26, I believe, they will just die. Now we go to camp. Doesn't matter who you talk to here. Go to bed alone. Mistra is our only love, so we go to bed alone. And now we're headed to the mountain pass. Here, we're going to respec. This is a temporary respec. We respec to cleric. 3 levels of cleric, because we need to unlock the silence spell. And then 2 levels of Barbarian to unlock Reckless Attack. And Raphael is in our camp now. So what we have to do is we're going to use a Hill Giant elixir of Hill Giant Strength. Then we're going to throw Silence on him, and we'll just use our normal Spell Sparkler staff here, and we'll just start wailing on him. Also, make sure that you set your attack you set the passive to knock unconscious. I think I forgot to do that at the beginning, but I eventually do remember to do that. There we go. Yep. And this takes about 5 minutes. I think it's about the fastest way to do it, but we eventually are able to knock him out. And once we knock him unconscious, we get 1400 experience, and more importantly, we get his armor. His armor is fantastic for this run. Just helps you reduce incoming damage more and also makes your AC insanely high. So now what we'll do is we will go back to respec again. This is our permanent. We're not going to respec after this. So we start off with Sorcerer. and we're not going to use Sorcerous spells, so we'll go ahead and use it on Enhanced Leap and Featherfall. I'll kind of take my time through this part in case you want to replicate. Draconic Bloodline is the correct answer here. And I'll explain how this build works too. White Cold, because we get the Armor of Agathys. Now, Armor of Agathys gives us temporary hit points, and then when an enemy hits us, they take whatever level I cast. So it starts at 5, and then we can upcast it. And when we upcast it to rank 6, that's 30 cold damage returned, which is pretty cool. For our stats, I realized we don't actually need dexterity, so we end up going 8, 10, 16, 16, 14, and 10. We put some points in wisdom, which seems strange, but saving throws are such a huge part of this run. I actually think there's a massive benefit to having some wisdom over anything else here. The reason why dexterity doesn't really help us is that going first with this build doesn't mean anything, because we're going to be battles are going to take a long time. So going first doesn't have as big of an advantage, and we can use elixirs of vigilance when it will matter. And then for level 2, we're going to swap over to Cleric. And the main thing is we need the Tempest domain, which unlocks heavy armor. It has some other cool stuff too, but it's mainly about the heavy armor. And we'll actually use the Fog Cloud once as well. For cantrips, there's actually some cool stuff here. Resistance is very helpful, Thaumaturgy is helpful, and Guidance. Now we don't need that necklace anymore, so really great cantrips here. Deity, we got to go with our goddess Mystra. It's actually kind of cool to have Gale be a cleric who worships Mystra. It's pretty fun. Here I noticed something really cool. Shield of Faith is actually an abjuration spell, which is going to give us stacks of Arcane Ward, even though it's a cleric spell. It's also a concentration spell, so it gives us something to concentrate on, and it lasts until long rest. So anytime I'm not using haste, you're going to see me using Shield of Faith in this run. And the AC from it is massive because we already get so much AC from our armor. And now for the next level, we're going to finally go into Wizard. And it's going to be Wizard from here on out for the entirety of the run. Booming Blade is going to be a very important cantrip for us because we don't want to constantly have to use magic missiles. We want to have something else we can use that doesn't take any spell slots, and that's going to be Booming Blade. Because fights are going to be so long, we're constantly going to have enemies in melee range, so we're going to be able to use Booming Blade a lot. I definitely end up using Booming Blade more than anything else during this run. As for our spells, the only ones that really matter in the first go are Shield and Magic Missiles. The rest of it, just choose whatever you want. I don't end up using much of it. The only thing I wish I had taken here is Disguise Self, because there's still some opportunities where we want to put that ring on and get the 1d4 to improve our chances on certain rolls. So I do miss out on that, unfortunately. Level 4, it's just another wizard level. Here we take Abjuration. This is going to be the key to our run. And this is a good opportunity to talk about Abjuration. So what Abjuration does, the key thing it does, is it gives you this shield called Arcane Ward. And Arcane Ward basically reduces the amount of damage you take by how many ever stacks you have. So if you have 5 stacks of Arcane Ward, whatever damage you take will be reduced by 5, and then Arcane Ward will go down to 4, 3, 2, 1 each time you get hit. So it's just this shield that provides an ability to not take damage, and we can build it up by casting abjuration spells, not cantrips. Tara visits us in camp, and she gives us a ring that improves our dexterity. I think we get a chance to use a reaction on dexterity fails. It's handy, but we're not going to really use it very much for this run. Now we head to the monastery, and this is another key item for the build. It's called the Holy Lance Helm. And what it does is there's an opportunity when an enemy misses you, they need to make a saving roll or they'll take 1d4 radiant damage. So we're going to be hoping enemies miss us so that it procs that helm. But if they do hit us, we still have Armor of Agathys. So they miss us, it's good. They hit us, it's good. Next, we head into the Githyanki Creche. You can just produce the artifact anytime they check on you, and you'll very easily be able to get past anything. And then we'll head into the Inquisitor's chambers here. We're not going to talk to him, though. What we do is we use Fog Cloud, which we got from being a Tempest Cleric, and it will allow us to steal from this chest here. And this has another core item, which is the Gloves of Belligerent Skies. So all of this stuff synergizes together, and it ends up making a very cool build where a lot of different things happen. So the Gloves of Belligerent Sky makes it so that when we do lightning damage from our charges, it'll be 2 turns of reverberation. The Boots of Stormy Clamour give reverberation when we get a status effect on enemies. Later we'll have a more consistent way of getting status effects. Now, don't fight this group. This group sucks. They're terrible. Just invis and jump past them. They keep reviving each other, and there's this very annoying stinky ghoul that makes it so you can't use actions. Talk to Elminster, and he's going to encourage you to blow yourself up. Thank goodness he said up. And we're ready to head to Act 2 and into the Shadow Curse lands. So what we can do is cast Light on ourselves here. And then we'll be able to walk through this initial Shadow Curse area. I don't know how the term to differentiate the two kinds. There's like a lighter Shadow Curse and a heavier one that requires more special stuff. Make sure you don't leap into the Shadow Curse, because for some reason it messes things up and you get Shadow Curse. It's really terrible, actually. I lost a run to it once. It was horrible. But now we'll jump down, and we're going to jump over to this house here. I'm going to show the whole route, just so you don't get mixed up at all. Jump to this house, and this will trigger an event with Karnas. And first thing you do is stay hidden. So it eliminates one of the enemies, and then after that we're going to make ourselves known. And here we actually get a lot of advantage from our classes, so it doesn't matter which one you choose here. You can choose any of these 3, just explaining why. Now we have an intimidation check with advantage because we're wizards, which means since we have advantage we don't have to use friends or thaumaturgy, which means we can concentrate on guidance. And this makes it much easier, and we do just barely pass, but we pass. Now we tell him to go, and he gives us another check here. So I just kind of mouse over and try to find the best one with the best odds. They're all the same for us here, so I don't think it matters. So I just go with the advantage wizard deception roll, which is also 14. And we miss! Fortunately, we have inspiration, so we roll again and we hit the second time. The chances of missing were kind of crazy there. And basically what that does is he abandons this Shadow Lantern and just heads in, or Moon Lantern, and just heads in. We free the Pixie here. The Pixie's awesome. The Pixie will give us a free pass into the Deep Shadow Curse. We don't have to equip anything. All we have to do is ask her for help, and she gives us a buff called Pixie's Blessing. We head into the Deep Curse, and we talk to this Thorm. This is dangerous. This is really dangerous. I didn't have a lot of inspiration, and so this could have gone bad. I did get favorable beginnings, and I have friends, which helps me pass the first one, but then favorable beginnings goes away for the second one. I wasn't sure which one was going to be better here, so I just went with the persuasion one. And this is crazy. A 21 is crazy. And we get a crit success. We get so lucky here. Definitely shouldn't have tried to do that. Now, any Thorm that you kill, you can consume the Shadow Weave. This only happens on a Gale Origin character. It allows you to get a free level 3 spell slot. We're going to backtrack to Last Light. Mole is going to bail us out so that Jaheira doesn't kill us. Show her the artifact, just be honest, and she'll eventually leave you alone. Another key item we're going to buy from the Quartermaster is the Cloak of Protection. It's the same as the Ring of Protection. It gives us 1 AC, 1 saving throw. We'll wear that for the entirety of the game. There's this weird ruined battlefield house that's just adjacent to Lamplight. I actually didn't know about this for a long time, but it's got another key item for this build. The Coruscation Ring. And I can just explain what it does while I'm getting it. It gives it gives Radiant Orb when you damage an enemy while you are illuminated by a light. I fail a perception check here, which means I'm going to eat a trap, and this trap is nasty. Watch this damage. But the Coruscation Ring is worth it. Basically, it means anytime that you're illuminated, enemies take Radiating Orb. And that counts as an affliction, which procs our boots. The boots of Stormy Clamour add stacks of reverb when you inflict a condition, and Radiating Orb counts as a condition. And Radiating Orb is also very helpful because it gives enemies disadvantage on attack rolls, so it's a major defensive resource. So next I head over to Moonrise Towers, and after the dialogue I actually get enough experience to level up. So I'll level up. Now, every wizard level, like most of the time we don't even get anything all that important. This time we get a feat, which is really important. But every wizard level increases our arcane ward cap by 2. So now we're wizard level 4, which means our max arcane ward is 8. We also get our first feat here, and we're going to use it on Heavy Armor Master, and that's going to reduce the damage we take by 3 from attacks. So that's in addition to Raphael's armor, which reduces the damage by 3. That's in addition to our arcane ward. So it's time to fight. We start off with our booming blade here, and we'll just attack. Now these guys are a little bit rough, the Adepts, because they use a lot of nasty spells. Guardian of Faith is really nasty if you're stuck in it. Fortunately, even though I used my action already, I do still get to move, and I move out of range. More importantly, I move before the guy who can use Frighten on us, which would leave us stuck in that, and that would have been pretty bad. So the Zealots always cast something that frightens you, and it's kind of hard to save against. Next, we'll see how the Holy Lance Helm works. She's going to cast Guiding Bolt and miss, and then she takes the Holy Lance Helm damage and gets the reverberation and everything else. So all of the damage riders also work on her Holy Lance Helm, which is fantastic. So this fight goes off pretty easily, and we actually get 2 more gummy worms here. Both the Adept and the Zealot have gummy worms for us. And there's a couple more gummy worms we can find in the back here. For some reason, Gale decides to take the scenic route. I've actually taken fall damage from a weird route that let my Featherfall wear off, but not this time, fortunately. So now we'll jump around to the other side. And by the way, we're using Elixirs of Hill Giant Strength anytime we can to make sure Booming Blade works. But the other benefit of that is that sometimes we get to throw enemies. So we're going to try to throw this Adept into the water. We succeed, but it's a little weird because they kind of get hung up on this branch and causes the dialogue to happen, and then they fall after that, which triggers combat. I'm going to skip over a lot of the combat here because it just is going to take forever. This video is already insanely long. But we grab a couple of Mind Flayer specimens here, which gives us 2 more. And now we'll head out and take on the Karnus group. Oh, we actually get annihilated here by Karnus's legendary action. I did not realize it was going to hurt that bad. It was the Fanatic Retaliation. I end up having to check it to see what the heck happened to me. When an enemy kills a Spindleweb Fanatic, Karnus will immediately retaliate against the attacker. Yeah, that's really bad. I think it's because we were close by, so I end up panicking here a little bit. Like, I'm freaking out. I took way too much damage. So I want to get away. I try just focusing Karnus. I realize I probably should have done that to begin with. And I end up popping a potion of speed here. And yeah, just praying. I don't get the kill here, so I just want to get as far away as possible. So I just move to the max range. Now, when they get proned by reverberation, when they get up, they can only walk half as far. So it's actually really, really helpful for creating distance as well. All the reverberation stacks we're getting from our gloves and our boots. So Karnas isn't able to attack us at all here. And we just continue with the magic missiles. I don't want to take a chance. So I just fully light him up, and we do finally get the kill there, and then the other guys are pretty easy. We can clean them up with booming blades. I'm not going to show most of the long rest, but I just want you to check out Muscle Mommy's thighs here. Fantastic stuff. There's another pretty simple fight here. These are kind of annoying because the shadows disappear at the end of the turns, and this fight ends up taking a lot longer than I wanted to, but we get through it. So next we try to convince Malice Thorm to allow his assistants to test their tools on him. And we get advantage because of being a cleric and then being a wizard. So I think cleric, sorcerer, wizard, it gives us a lot of advantage on a lot of rolls. Now this is still a tough one, but we can get guidance, so if we get a good guidance here, we'll pass, and we do manage to pass, fortunately, getting some good rolls, and they take out Malice Thorm. Now we'll head to the third Malice, Isobel Thorm, and Cleric. Once again, we get advantage on rolls from being a Cleric. We equip all of our protection stuff, Holy Lance Helm as well. And we already have focus going on something here, so I just roll. And this is pretty easy. We have performance checks as well, but they're not too bad. So yeah, we end up getting through this whole thing. 18 is not too bad either, especially with 10 to 13 bonus and advantage. So we get through this. Actually, we get a critical success. And we beat our third Thorm. And these guys just give an absolute ton of experience to it, so it's always worth doing if you have the charisma or you have the ability, the inspiration to get through these. Make sure you fight those. Next we head to the Shar Temple. I'm not going to show a ton of stuff inside of here, but I want to show how to do this initial puzzle. There's probably a cheesy way to do it. I kind of do it the right way, but just make sure you're inside the octagon but outside the circle when you do that little loop there, and you'll be able to get through. Now the next part is the worst part for our build. Because we have a lot of radiant damage from our Helm and radiating orbs. Is that radiant damage? I don't know if radiating orbs count, but I always freak out about it. The radiant retort that some enemies have ahead basically reflects double the radiant damage back to you. So I'm going to avoid it by just casting invisibility and going past the initial encounter here. And we'll go into the room with Balthazar, and this is the final element for our build. Make sure you use knock. This is like a 30 DC, so you really need to knock on this door. Very difficult to pass without like a rogue, dedicated rogue. In here, we get the Callous Glow Ring, which does 2 damage against creatures that are illuminated. Now, a lot of creatures are just in the light, so they're illuminated, but since we're casting light on ourselves, anything in melee range from us is going to be illuminated, and this 2 damage is going to be a damage rider on any other source of damage, so it adds up very quickly. We're going to go to the other side and sneak around, and then we'll cast Knock on the door here. And we'll kind of get far away, but we'll send Shovel in, and it's very funny that Shovel can go in and do this dialogue. Even the cutscene shows Shovel in it, which is really, really funny. Just the dramatic pan across Shovel. I choose attack. I was hoping to aggro both sides, because if you get aggro on Balthazar and his crew as well, you get experience for them. Unfortunately, it didn't work that way, and I only got aggro from the Shar summons or whatever. The Shar group. So with Gale, I actually attack one of Balthazar's crew, and now I have aggro on everything. This fight takes a while, but eventually they will kill Balthazar. So what I decided to do was after they killed Balthazar, I just took off my gear that had radiant stuff on it, anything I was worried about reflecting, and I kind of cleaned up. I wanted to get some extra experience and also be able to loot Balthazar. It's dangerous, you don't really have to do it, but I figured why not, you know? And speaking of dangerous, I decided to go confront Yurgir. This can go bad, but as long as you pass the first check at least, it's probably going to be okay. So for the first check, you convince him to get rid of his followers, and this is the only one that really matters. We do pass this one on the first try. And getting rid of his followers, it gets rid of like 80% of the battlefield. Next, I try to get him to get rid of his displacer. And I fail. Last try here. I succeed on the last try. So, the displacer beast is gone, so now it's just Yurgir. I try to convince Yurgir, but I only had one shot, and I failed, so I ended up in a 1v1 battle with Yurgir. Yurgir's not too bad, he's just annoying because he, same as those shadows, he disappears at the end of every turn pretty much. Sometimes you can catch him out, and finally I catch him out enough. He basically damaged himself because of my Radiant Helm for most of this fight. It probably took 20 minutes to do this fight. But eventually he just like blows himself up. I can't seem to hit him at all, I just keep skipping my turn. But he just keeps trying to attack me, and he blows himself up. Next, cast Featherfall, and you can jump down from the stairs where you headed to fight Yurgir. You can jump down here, and this will allow you to skip the entire Shar trials, which are just annoying. Just cast Knock on the Door, and you're able to get through. Come and knock on my door. We're all waiting for you. And I'm not actually going to go in yet. I still have a lot of stuff to do. I just want to get the waypoint while I'm here. So head in and grab the waypoint, and then we'll head out. We level up pretty quick after this, and we're going to take another level of Wizard. For the spells, I take Counterspell and Glyph of Warding here. So Glyph of Warding is cool because it's a AoE damage, but it's also an Abjuration spell. So it's a good way of getting Abjuration stacks while doing something offensively. So our Shield of Faith lets us do it kind of defensively, and Shield of Faith is even a bonus action we can use, but offensively we can use the Glyph of Warding. Now I backtrack all the way to the first crypt because there's this Book of the Old Gods, and this gives Sage another inspiration point. We need to pile on some inspiration for an upcoming important encounter. So we pass both of these checks and we get another inspiration, fortunately. Next, I accidentally fast traveled to the Goblin Camp. I meant to go to Blighted Village, but I cleared out the entrance of the Goblin Camp. And then when I went inside, I realized that even though I missed Volo earlier, stupidly, Volo is actually still here. So I was still able to rescue Volo at this point, which is very cool to know. So we send Volo to our camp. He's a nice merchant, and then he also gives us a surgery later that benefits us. Next, we head down below the Blighted Village into the Spider Cave, and I thought I was going to be clever here and skip the initial enemies by jumping right into the Matriarch. However, everything ends up pulling here, and I have to fight all of it. This fight can be really, really nasty. It doesn't end up too bad for us. The main thing is never cast on the little tiny spiders because she's got a legendary action where she will counter if you attack the spiders. However, if they attack you and take damage, it doesn't trigger that. So the baby spiders attack me and they take damage and I don't have to worry about them. So just ignore them, focus on the queen. We eventually get the queen down and then the last phase spider down. And now we grab the Dark Amethyst, which will allow us to open the Necromancy of Thay. There's a couple uses of the Necromancy of Thay actually in Act 3. I only use one of those. We'll talk about it later, obviously. But place the amethyst in and try to pass the checks. I think you don't have to pass all of them. I don't really like to waste inspiration on this one, so we do pass the second one. The third one is a DC 20 and we fail it. I don't bother wasting inspiration on this. We still get access to the Speak with Dead ability for free. And I'm actually going to use that here for another inspiration opportunity. I rescued this guy before, but I didn't talk to him because I knew I could come back later for an inspiration. Basically, you serve as a medium for this, and you get an inspiration point for it. So, pretty cool. Whispers from the Grave. Next, we go deal with the gnolls. First, I convince them to go inside and attack the two dudes in there.
Deep in the... It is the ship.
And then I just kind of clean things up when it's done. So it's really not a bad fight at all. We use our Speak with Dead again to get the password for the Zhentarim hideout. And there's also a caravan strongbox that we'll need to pick up, and then we can head on over to the hideout. Just jump across the gap here. You can use the strongbox and the password to get past. Give her the chest and you get a reward. And then we'll go ahead and stage a workplace accident down here. Very dangerous working conditions they have. This is not my fault at all. And after that, we can just clean things up down here. This is a pretty straightforward area. It's really not bad. Next, this is why we got all the inspiration points. This is one of the most important parts of the game here. Save up your inspiration, get all your saving throw gear on. If we're able to pass all of these saving throws, our Illithid powers become bonus actions. And that is absolutely massive, especially for a solo playthrough where action economy is so limited. Having powerful skills as bonus actions will make our life so much better. We unfortunately do get unlucky a little bit with some of these rolls. We have to use inspiration on the first roll and on the second roll here. But we get through both of those eventually.
That's the divide, the tadpole.
And on the third one, we actually just take the normal saving throw. That was the best option. It had the most bonuses, and we do hit that one on the first try. So we do manage to survive this, and now all of our Illithid powers are bonus actions. And this triggers a combat event with her outside. She goes out and gathers everyone up. So I end up using an invisibility potion to get the jump on him. Unfortunately, for some reason, it makes me walk all the way up, and I end up taking my own arcane ward. Hold person is very nasty here, so fortunately I'm able to use the psionic backlash to avoid getting the hold person there. Gith, they're very dangerous because all of their casters can use hold person, and it's very hard to resist. But we are able to get through this. And it wasn't too bad because we avoided that hold person. Next, it's time to fight the Inquisitor. So we head in with Shovel to get the surprise attack off. And I'll show a little bit of this fight here. The first round, the Inquisitor has Alert, so he doesn't get surprised. He unfortunately completely ignores our Shovel and does Mind Steal Link on me. Which brings him to my range, though, so I want to get rid of him as quickly as possible. And so I'm going to use a potion of speed here. I have the wrong ring on. I'm just noticing that now. I don't have the right ring on, so I'm doing less damage than I should. Really got to pay attention. I still have my saving throw ring on. And every time you hit him, unfortunately, it spawns these extra swords on top of you. So, second round, we just use more magic missiles and slowly whittling him down. Once again, it would have been so much faster if I had the right ring on. Very, very unfortunate here. But we are able to get him down by round 2, and then after that, it's just a matter of cleaning up with Booming Blade. And we get through that encounter. Next, we have to deal with Vlaakith. Don't get sassy with Vlaakith. Don't say anything. Just agree to do whatever she wants. She will end your run if you say the wrong thing here. So we head in and we talk to the Guardian, Muscle Mommy, and then we're going to head back out. And we have another fight at the top of the stairs. This is a good demonstration of using our bonus action on something cool, Repulsor. And again, fairly straightforward fight to clean up. Nothing too scary here. Now, this fight is scary. I know that the traitor has access to hold person. I tried to stay at max range, so hopefully she wouldn't be able to cast it. Unfortunately, she is able to cast it, and this hold person lasts so many turns, and I finally break out of it, and I'm finally about to have a turn. So all I have to do is avoid the quartermaster. Hold personing. I tried counterspelling. It worked great. So I finally get a turn, and I'm able to do some damage on my turn. So I get some chip damage on him. But guess what? The next turn, she uses hold person again, and I can't counterspell it. So a bunch more turns go by. Fortunately, they just bug out, and they completely stop attacking me. For some reason, with the AC being so high from Raphael's armor, they kind of just bug out and give up after a while. So it was actually really nice. I didn't have to do any fighting or any concern about them hitting me. Even when I was held, they just stopped hitting me. So I just kind of booming blade through the rest of this fight, and it's not too bad. Now, the traitor, quartermaster, whatever, she has an important item here for our run. We get the gloves of dexterity from her, and those are going to come in handy later, and I'll explain why when we get there. There's another encounter in the hallway. This one is also pretty straightforward. Just take out whoever's got the highest. Take out the Gish. Always take out the Gish. They're the ones who can cast Hold Person. So always take out the spellcasters and you'll be okay. And finally, we have the classroom. This one is a little bit annoying because the leader guy, the teacher, he uses instruction, which gives 20 temporary health to anybody, and that's a lot of health to deal with. But, you know, it's a tedious fight. We are able to finish it. I'm really skipping through a lot of these fights because they take a really, really long time. Next, I head back outside, realizing I forgot a bunch of free experience here. The kobolds are absolutely free. These guys just don't use magic on them. The blade, booming blade doesn't count as magic, so you can use that. Then we head up to the eagles. I actually allowed the mother eagle to summon adds because that's even more experience. They have an annoying thing where they can prone you, so they keep interrupting my concentration, my shield of faith. But eventually we're able to deal with these guys as well. Just booming blade over and over again. Save your spell slots. Next, it's time to take on Nere. Now, Nere is normally a scary enemy, but if you go to Act 2 and then come back and fight Nere later, he becomes trivial. Also, siding with Minthara to get some allies is very helpful. Anytime you're doing solo honor mode, having summons or having allies is going to make fights exponentially easier. Having things that get focused on aside from you makes it easier. So we are able to take Nere out with magic missiles, and then we just clean up everything else. And we head back up, and Lady Esther's got to go next. I'm sorry, Lady Esther. We'll take her out. She's actually pretty scary. Don't underestimate her. She's quite scary. But we are able to get her down with magic missiles eventually. Or do we need magic missiles? We use Booming Blade, yeah. We get the finish with Booming Blade. And from her, we really want the Graceful Cloth and also the necklace. I forgot the name of it, but it's very important for certain encounters. And you'll see later that it's actually going to save my bacon quite a bit. I decided to take on this group. It's stupid. There's no reason to do it. the main thing is you have to kill both of these shepherds in one turn, and I don't. So what I do is I walk away, and I take the opportunity attack, get very lucky, and the other Death Shepherd goes down. So once they're down, the rest is trivial. Then I head down to the beach and take care of all of these guys on the beach. This fight's pretty easy. He's annoying because he counterspells you all the time, but, you know, just Booming Blade, everything. And eventually we are able to get the kill and clear them out. Now I try to help Halsin. This fight is really hard. Even hasted, there's just way too many enemies and they're all focusing on the portal. So I'm trying to prevent Halsin from dying here. And you can see the enemies just keep creeping up to the portal. I have 3 more turns left, but unfortunately an arrow kills the portal, kills Halsin, but look at all that experience, 837 experience. So I'm not very confident about Isobel after that, after losing Halsin. Isobel's AI is usually completely scuffed. I want to show a bunch of this fight because I've never seen Isobel do this well before. So first, he goes first. And we're able to projected ward, but she still takes some damage. Not too much, though. And look at this. Jaheira, Icy Storm. Now, all the winged horrors usually just make a beeline right up to her. For some reason, the downstairs winged horrors just focus on whoever they're near. It's very weird. Now, for our turn, I don't do this perfectly. But what I want to do, and I end up using this strategy more and more throughout the game, I want to spread radiating orbs onto everything. And because radiating orbs cause disadvantage on attack rolls, keeping radiating orbs on enemies is a very, very good defensive resource. And I try to get Marcus down, and I fail, unfortunately, so I'm thinking it's over here. Like, she is so bad with her AI, she's gonna run through all these attacks, get paralyzed, and get lit up by Marcus on the next turn. But watch what she does. First she casts Sacred Flame on Marcus, sure, that's fine. Then she heals herself! She doesn't try to run through all that crap, she just heals herself. Now Marcus pops up, he's got Radiating Orb, so he runs through an opportunity attack, uses Vampiric Shout on me, and he doesn't do anything else. He doesn't even try to hit Isobel. So then on my turn, I just magic missiles and try to focus on Marcus. I get rid of most of the imps, and then I get a little chicken here and I just focus all of the missiles on Marcus to be safe, and I do get Marcus down. And all of the imps have Radiating Orb, and I use my bonus action on Sanctuary. And I use Sanctuary on Isobel so that she can't get hit. So we are able to save this town. Very nice. Just clean up and we're done. Finally, we head into Moonrise Towers. I head upstairs and I start by focusing on Z'rell. Arcane Ward is really good for dealing with the Scrying Eyes, but you have to have another enemy adjacent to him, so use the Thunder Damage one, which they're weak to. And I am able to get the kill on Z'rell here pretty easily. She uses Fear, but I'm able to Psionic Backlash and get the Cold a Weak. Get another Gummy Worm. And we'll head into Balthazar. Hey, we get another inspiration for getting past that puzzle. And just for funsies, I decide to go against Mystra's Will again and craft a Shadow Lantern, just for fun. I think we get a little experience for it. It's not really worth it, but I thought it was funny to do. Yeah, she's mad at me. She's mad. And now it's time to just start cleaning up things in Moonrise Tower. So we use our ability here. This is probably the best use of Repulsor that I have in this run. I'm able to get quite a few kills there. And then we're able to clean up Radija. Psionic Backlash. Fireball does pretty much nothing because we have resistance from Raphael's armor. And with all our Arcane Ward, we just take no damage from Fireball. Next, we head down to the basement. I'll use my arcane ward trick again. Or sorry, glyph of warding. I keep calling it arcane ward. Glyph of warding thunder to take care of the scrying eye. Just like that. And just clean up some enemies here. Next, we take on the warden. Start by taking out the scrying eye, then focus on the warden. She uses invisibility. She's annoying, but we're able to clear her out. She kind of clears herself out there. Throw Wolbrin, his hammer. Wolbrin is vital for this run, by the way. Make sure you rescue Wolbrin. We'll see later that he's very, very important to this run. So, yeah. We don't need Barkus, but we do need Wolbrin. Tell him to go to Lamplight. Lamplight? Last Light Inn, because we know it's safe there. These Inquisitors, they're stupid. Don't fight them. They cast confusion over and over again. So I don't know why I decided to fight them. I was just being silly. I decided to fight them, and I do get confused quite a bit here. I save it sometimes, but I am able to eventually win. Confusion's dangerous, but we do get through. So now we head back upstairs and we fight some more of these guys. There's a ton of them. I'm skipping a whole bunch of this, but yeah, we fight an absolute ton of enemies here. There's some scary points. These guiding bolts actually do a lot of damage to us, and our arcane ward is gone at this point. So this part got a little bit scary, but we were able to get the kill eventually. I do some more cleaning up there. I don't want to show every single fight. There's a lot of them. But finally, we're ready to trigger the end of Act 2 by moving down into the portal here, and we are going to free the Nightsong.
Is it you? Are you ready?
I did forget to let Bolo perform surgery on me, but I managed to remember just before the point of no return. So one of the keys here is strength in numbers. So I have a bunch of scrolls of Conjure Elemental here, and I'll use one for this fight. I've been saving up scrolls, so I do have quite a few. I'm very, very concerned for the upcoming fights. So I haste myself, and as soon as I cast haste, I pop in to fight Kethric. Now these bigger fights I'm going to probably show a lot more of. I do pass the persuasion check. Don't use friends or guidance if you're hasted. Both of those will break concentration on haste, and then you'll end up lethargic for the first turn. It's very, very bad. So, she's actually really annoying. She's even more annoying. Fireball. I don't know why I counterspelled this. Like I said, I don't take much damage from it. It wasn't really worth the spell slot to do that. Now, on my turn, what I want to do is jump up high. When you jump up high, you're very, very safe on top of these pillars here. So I jump up to this pillar, and I'm actually fairly safe up here. And I try to use arrows on her, because I want to get rid of her first. This was a mistake. Magic Missiles doesn't do anything because she's shielded. She constantly shields, so it ended up being a huge waste. And also Kethric wasn't taking much from that. So I was just trying to whittle him down a bit. Dame Aelin fell pretty quickly. This, I started going to scrolls here because I was desperate. So Ice Storm finally ended up triggering him to go to the next phase, and I also killed the other at the same time.
Kethric must die.
And now we tell Jaheira to kick rocks, reject her advances, and then we head down to the end of Act 2.
The hole yawns back at you.
So down here, I just want to fight everything I see, basically. I fight all of these dudes, and I level up. I'm level 9. I would rather be level 10 here, but level 9 will have to do. Level 10's tough to get solo. Here, this fight seems like it's going to be trivial. It's just a few Mind Flayers, and I have allies on my side, so I was not worried about this fight at all. However, things got bad quickly here. I got Mind Blasted. Now, when you're stunned, first of all, he's breakdancing, but when you're stunned, Mind Flayers have another ability where they eat your brain, and it does a ton of damage. So, unfortunately, right now I'm susceptible to Extract Brain. First one misses, good. Second one, they just go right for me. They don't go for the other stunned one right in front of them. Look at that damage, 36 damage through my Arcane Ward, through everything else. Then I get stunned again. And I'm like, this is over. I panicked. I almost tried to like quit out, but it doesn't work on here. So I completely panicked. My game freaked out. I think I was like it was bad. Like I really thought my run was over right here. This was the closest it got. Look at my health, it's gone. The music is cut off because I'm freaking out. And cuts back in, and here comes another attempt to eat my another attempt at a Mind Blast. We save. If we don't save there, I think the run's over. We get lucky and save that one. And I am panicked. So I try to heal. And here I did something stupid. I should have just focused one of them down. I tried to kill both of them at the same time. The smart thing would have been just to kill one of them, because if I killed one of them, he can only Mind Blast. He can't Mind Blast and Extract Brain on the same turn. Two of them can. So having two up is exponentially more dangerous than just having one up. Then I hide out of the path of where a Mind Blast might be. I'm catching my breath now. Like, this was absolutely terrifying. I really thought it was over, but eventually we are able to finish the job here. The only other fight of note here is this giant fight with the Death Shepherd and a whole bunch of undead. I feel like this was worth it just because there's so much experience to be had here. I took a calculated risk here. I was hoping I wouldn't get blown up, but I used a Scorching Ray, Scroll, and I hit all three of these Nautiloid tanks, and I am able to blow a bunch of stuff up. Then I'm able to get the kill on the Death Shepherd. The explosion knocked off his weird shield thing, and then that gets the finish. And then after that, it was just a matter of cleaning up. A lot of the zombies have a lot of health, but that's pretty cool. They kind of just blow themselves up there, which is awesome. And now I rescue us. This is just another warm body for fights. And we're finally time to head in. Do we blow ourselves up and end the run here? Nah, we're gonna fight. We're gonna fight here.
But perhaps you hope to learn your place in history.
Now, I don't actually want to pass the persuasion check here. I need him in Kethric form at the beginning so I can clean up the Mind Flayer and a few other ads here. So I don't try to persuade him. I use Invisible Scratch to get Dame Aelin free for us. And then I just Misty Step up here to take on the Mind Flayer, focus him down. So I don't get him down on the first turn. Fortunately, I don't get Mind Blasted, and I am able to clean him up on the next turn. I kind of try to get some ads out of the way as well, and then do a little chip damage on Kethric. So, but I get the... Ooh, I actually didn't get the Mind Flayer down on the first action. Fortunately, with haste, just one more, and then I am able to get him down, and also clean up a bunch of those guys as well. So Dame Aelin actually puts in a lot of work in this phase, and as well as my Earth Elemental. Kethric still is just not taking any damage from my magic missiles at all, unfortunately. I am able to finish Kethric here with a Psionic Backlash, which triggers phase 2 with the Avatar of Myrkul. Now, I was really hoping that the magic missiles would do more damage on the Avatar of Myrkul. We'll see if that's the case. But first I want to swap my Elixir of Vigilance for an Elixir of Necrotic Resistance at this point. It's very, very important. Necrotic Resistance is the only way that we're going to stay alive with him focusing on us. So I try to blast down the eggs here and then send the rest of the magic missiles at him. Let's see the damage. Basically nothing again. None of the damage riders are working. Magic missiles barely doing anything. That's when I realized I was in big trouble here. So he does his move where he pulls us in, and that's when I started going to my scrolls. I decided my haste had run out by now. This fight takes forever, by the way, like about an hour on this fight. So I'm going to be skipping over a lot. But I wanted to show I use this wall of fire here, and this was actually super duper effective. We managed to hold concentration on it until the very end. And it just does really nice passive damage throughout the whole fight. I probably should have used all my spell slots on Scorching Ray, to be honest. That would have done a lot better. And here, I have my summon, which Fire Elemental was the way to go for this summon as well. He's not weak to fire, but he's not strong against it either, so it seems to work pretty well. This is the part where I almost die. My health is very low. He gazes, making it even lower. My arcane ward is way down. And so what I do is I waste an action putting on this necklace. And what the necklace does is it makes potions do their maximum amount. Any healing is a max roll. And that's what keeps me alive. He still almost kills me with a giant 29 roll on that. And then he hits me with a gaze for another 7, so I'm almost dead again. My fire elemental's putting in work, but I'm constantly just having to heal. But I kind of get control of things here. So eventually he stops summoning ads, which would heal him. So I end up just having to firebolt him over and over again. So this fight was nuts. It took a really long time. But I just keep blasting away with firebolts and hoping for the best. The end of this fight's kind of funny, so I'm showing a big chunk of it here. He hits us, and I have a summon. I use my last summoning scroll on an Azer, and he gets lit up here, but watch what happens when he gets swung on. The cleave damage knocks Dame Aelin off. Now, she couldn't heal because of his aura, the Myrkul aura, but now she can heal. And unfortunately, when she resurrects, she doesn't have an action, so she can't swing, and she immediately goes back into Bone Chill. She only has 1 health. So I'm like, how can I make sure that she can actually do something? And I have an Arrow of Darkness. He's actually very susceptible to darkness. So I decide to shoot the Arrow of Darkness at him, not expecting to hit. I don't think I'm going to hit. It's 16%. And I do miss, but he still gets blinded. Now, is he going to hit Dame Aelin? He doesn't because of the blind. He's not able to hit Dame Aelin, and she gets a turn. And she's able to swing twice. She only does 10 damage, but then she immediately gets countered. But she absorbs a counter spell for me, and now I'm able to freely use Firebolt, which misses. It would have been really cool if the fight finished right there, I think. It didn't finish right there, but he's only got 14 health left. I just need to hit him 1 time here with a Firebolt. To be honest, Firebolt does more damage than magic missiles right now. But I heal to be safe, and then finally we're able to finish him off with a Firebolt. We get through Act 2. The fight took like an hour. I hope that I didn't cut it up too much. This video is already insanely long, so unfortunately I can't show too much of these fights. It's really sad, actually. But we are able to succeed and get through, and now we're done with Act 2 pretty much. Except for this fight. This fight against the Githyanki. This is also a really scary fight, but Radiating Orbs plus our really high defense, it becomes pretty easy. There's no one who hold person in this group. The Githyanki groups that have hold person are infinitely harder than the ones that don't. So the fight with the traitor was harder than the fight with the Inquisitor, which is crazy. And we get the awesome counter kill here. And we're ready to head to Act 3. Now, this is potentially an issue, because we don't have any way of setting up. We can't do our normal setup stuff. I end up using Misty Step to get as far back here as possible. And then I use my action on Dash. Yeah, don't bother fighting these guys. There's no benefit to it. And we try to get to the portal that way. We get knocked through the portal here, which is kind of funny. And we're able to walk back around and enter. For the fight inside, like, the most important thing is I just use my normal strategy of scattering my magic missiles around every turn to make sure Radiating Orb stays on all of them, and that keeps us pretty safe. And we find out tragically that our Muscle Mommy is not really our Muscle Mommy and a Mind Flayer instead. We do accept the Illithid, half Illithid power here, and that will unlock the rest of our brain for gummy worms. So we enter Act 3, and there's just so much stuff here. I don't want to show everything. I'm just going to show parts of each fight. I go inside, I betray the Djinn, and get knocked into this realm to fight dinosaurs. Back at the circus, we fight Dribbles. That one's pretty easy as well. Like, the only time I'll mention anything is if the fights are hard. We find the newborn Mind Flayer, and that unlocks the last gummy worm that we need to actually complete the process of having our entire brain covered in worms. So I believe this is 26 skills, which is very helpful. We find Wolbryn and offer to blow up the foundry to get a rune powder bomb, which is going to be very important later. That's why I mentioned earlier that we need to have Wolbryn stay alive. We get a level. We hit level 10 now. Nothing too exciting here. We do get a feat, though. For the feat, we're going to take Dual Wielder. There's a staff that we're going to get that will be dual wielding with our Spell Sparkler. It's going to make us a little more offensive, a little less defensive. And now we head under and find some more doppelgangers to fight. We find the laziest detective ever and tell him that we'll investigate here. We already did the investigation, basically. Normally, this is very dangerous, but if you rescue the gnomes, then you can do the prepare to fight thing, and you won't actually have a fight. Nimble will run up and throw a grenade, and then you can just run right past him. So now we head up to the flop house. I failed a perception check here, unfortunately, so I have to use a firebolt to blow up the bed. And we find Fiona's body to continue our investigation. We let Mamzelle know about the body. She doesn't seem very concerned. We tell Valeria about the murder plot, Vale murder plot, and we get a pass to enter. But before we do, we sign a contract. Raphael's looking a little beat up still. But we go ahead and sign the contract here to get the Orpheus hammer. And next we'll head to the coronation of Gortash, and we go ahead and agree to an alliance with him.
The faceless in your camp is like a knife. That's where
Now here's a fight that I shouldn't do. This is in the lower Baldur's Gate area, underneath the whatever the inn is called. Now, there's two enemies here who can cast Hold Person, so I try to eliminate one of them immediately, and I think I'm okay. I'm not worried about the portal at all. I'm 100% worried about this Gish. So I try to light up the Gish. I have haste on, but I have a bad initiative roll, so the Gish is actually going to go before I can. That means if she hits hold person, my haste is going to get broken and I'm going to be held, and it's going to be a really bad time for me. So I am only watching the Gish right now. I don't care about anybody. I don't even care about that leader. I only care about the veteran Gish. And sure enough, she cast hold person. And it hits. I don't get a chance to counter it. So I just have to keep eating stuff. Fortunately, I survived. This build is just so tanky that even when things go wrong and I get held again, yeah, I'm able to escape. And eventually, I'm able to deal with the Gish. Although, I got disarmed as well, which is annoying. So I had to pick up the Spell Sparkler here. I have to pick up my weapon again, and I use Arcane Glyph of Warding to get more ward stacks. And yeah, I should Psionic Dominance that instead of Rend it. It was kind of silly. But I am able to get through this one. This was another scary fight that I should not have taken on because it could have gone bad very, very easily. From there, I head down to the sewers and I find the entrance to the Zhent hideout. I wasn't sure what was going to happen here. But I was like, why not go for it? Let's see what happens. And I think, okay, the bartender runs out. He's kind of saying weird stuff. Like, does he need help? And he says, just a moment. I'm very confused about the bartender. But it turns out I aggroed the entire thing. So this is a massive fight. But it's definitely manageable. And there's a lot of experience to be had here. Like, a ton of experience. So this ends up being worth the time, worth the effort. You can see how many enemies I'm dealing with. It's once again just spreading out the radiating orbs to make sure that as many enemies have radiating orb as possible. So just spread your missiles out, tag whatever you can. Although here I want to try to take out the lady, the main lady, because she's actually kind of scary. Not really though. That was a pretty good one. That took out a bunch at the same time. And eventually I'm able to finish this down here. And just outside there's another really easy fight against these Sahwagan. Is that how you say that? We're basically just trying to find experience opportunities that are safe enough that we can get to level 12. Here I buy the Hellrider Longbow. The Hellrider Longbow is an improved version of the Bow of Awareness. It just gives us 3 to initiative instead of 1. It pretty much guarantees that we're going to go first. Then I head to the park and take on these Death Hands. And we go rescue Volo by taking on these ruffians near the Sentry, whatever, the Watcher Factory. Rescue Volo. We don't need him for anything, but it's nice to rescue him. There's another little factory with some easy enemies. These guys are pushovers, but they give 250 experience each, I think. So another good chance to get some experience. And now we hit level 11. So we're getting close. We need to hit level 12. I want to hit level 12 just because I don't want to risk this run by being greedy. Like, we've already come this far. We might as well grind it out to level 12. So, you know, no big deal. We're not getting much from these levels other than 2 extra stacks of Arcane Ward. Now, here we get the rest of our gear by taking on Lorroakan with help, quote-unquote, from Dame Aelin. So we take out the Lorroakan and the rest of the Lorroakan? Holy cow, that's hard to say. And then down below we get our final piece for our build, which is the staff here. Another weird one to pronounce. Markoheshkir. Sorry. I was trying to read it out of the chat log there, or the combat log. We head down, read this book, so we get the Artistry of War. And since we're a wizard, we can actually add this. We can learn this spell. However, we can only use it once per short rest, I think. So it's only one time per combat, basically. We get some scrolls of dethrone, and we also read this book about the crown. And, you know, we'll have to think about what to do with that information later. We get another scroll of dethrone. We also get some other good scrolls here that'll come in handy later. A lot of great stuff down here. Make sure you come down here. And now we finish reading the Necromancy of Thay based on another book that we find down here in Sorcerous Sundries. Get an inspiration. And we also get a new spell here called Dance Macabre. And this allows us to summon 4 ghouls. They won't they'll fight alongside you. They're not controlled, so they just attack anything, but they're basically just more warm bodies for enemies to focus on. So here I get my final setup for the build. I take the shield off, which means I don't have crit immunity. So I'm going to put on Grimskull Helm. Now there's another helmet that we could use that does more damage. I got it. It's on the top of the entrance of Sorcerous Sundries. I forgot the name, but it basically makes your damage rolls a little bit better, and it works really well with magic missiles. But we're going to play it safe here because it's a solo run. We don't want to get crit. Crit's the only way that we lose. Now we head over and take on Dolar. This fight is actually really scary, but we're able to get through it. Then I head down to the Tribunal, and for some dumb reason, well, the reason is I want experience. I decide to take on these guys. These guys have a ton of health. They do these crazy hard-hitting smites, and they just smoke all of my buddies here. But we are able to get through these. We avoid enough attacks. But this was definitely a lot scarier than I expected. But look at that experience, 320. Maybe it's not worth it, I don't know. And then I go inside and I decide to take on Sarevok. Like, I don't agree to anything, I just fight him. Use your bodies again. This one, he's got this legendary action Murderous Retort where he just absolutely annihilates the first thing that attacks him. So you don't want to be the first thing in a turn to attack him. It's bad. So here I attack, and then he just annihilates us. He'll like sometimes attack 4 or 5 times in a row. It's really bizarre. I realized at this point Water Elemental is just the king. So I use Water Elemental and, you know, just cover the ground in ice. Water Elemental's awesome, dude. So use Water Elemental whenever you get the chance. Sometimes you get a lot of cheeky prones from it, so it's definitely worth it. I just continue blasting him with magic missiles while my ads tank, and we eventually get through him. We take on Alis down in the sewers. Nothing really scary here, especially with our fire resistance and burning immunity. He can't really do much to us. We still want to avoid getting having the magma methods blow up near us, but yeah, this one was a cakewalk. Now finally we head to Cazador's Palace, and this is a bunch of free experience here. I also get the sick robe in here, by the way, so I'm wearing that. But we clear this room out, and I'm thinking I might have to take on Cazador to get to level 12, which would be a little bit scary because it's not a trivial fight by any means. So I want to see where I am at the end of this fight, and fortunately I actually level up here before I have to go down and fight Cazador. So I hit level 12, I don't have to take on Cazador. And our final level, again, nothing of real interest here. None of the cantrips are going to mean anything for us. We do unlock a couple of spells. Nothing too crazy. I put Chain Lightning and Sunbeam. No, I actually think I got those from Scrolls, but yeah, anything you're missing, just get from Scrolls. And now it's time to take on Orin. Orin is an absolutely terrifying fight. She has these guys surrounding her that have Sanctuary, and they give her stacks of Unstoppable. Each of them gives 2 stacks of Unstoppable, and there's 6 of them, and it resets every round. So we need to get rid of these guys. So what I do is I'm putting Graceful Cloth on, and Gloves of Dexterity. I put on Smuggler's Ring, but it's not necessary. Gloves of Dexterity, and what I'm trying to do is make my stealth rolls as good as possible. And then I cast Greater Invisibility on myself. And Greater Invisibility has a chance of having you stay invisible, but you have to pass a stealth check. So I'm trying to increase my invisibility score as high as possible. Yeah, this fight usually don't want to do solo. So I'm going to sneak down with Gale here. I'll just narrate this whole thing. Cast Invis on myself. And then we're going to head down, and I'm going to take that Rune Powder Bomb that Wolbryn gave us. Again, it's a one-time thing, so it's allowed, at least by my rule set. I'm going to put it right on top of the throne here, and hopefully it'll knock all of the enemies off. I think positioning maybe even a little bit further towards the center would be better, because it does not quite get one. I do pass the stealth check, fortunately, and now I have to detonate it, and I'm trying to get the most range, so I end up throwing one of these bombs as well, one of the smoke powder bombs, to detonate it, and I try to do it from as far back as possible, because I want to reset the fight after this. Boom. I end up getting all but one of them. There's one that's remaining. So this is definitely a lot more manageable. So I get my gear back on, I get my summons up, I get hasted, and then what I want to do is use Smoke Powder Arrow to knock this guy off. So I do that. And it doesn't knock him off, but it does kill him. So fortunately, there's none of those guys left. There's only one ad, and that one's not awful. Although he has a stun, that's quite scary. So now I actually waste magic missiles here because I thought she might still have unstoppable stacks. They would have showed up, but for some reason I thought it might be bugged out or something. So I end up wasting a highest tier magic missile. It doesn't help because she's going to transform on her turn and reset her health anyway. So I really didn't need to do anything for the rest of the turn. I could have just waited it out. And then with my second action, I'm like, she's going to transform and then try to fear me. So I don't even use my second action. All I do is fly away. And I want anything that she does, I want it to be done to the ads instead of me. So then we continue on with the fight. Oh, I use shovel, invis shovel. I just need actions to be wasted on ads. So even if, shovel only has 7 health, doesn't matter. We just need actions to be wasted on ads. That's the key to these kind of fights where the enemy's very scary. We want them to focus on ads instead of us. So she transforms here. Shovel gets that. Stunning Gaze. This is huge. A huge save on Stunning Gaze. If I didn't get that save, I probably would have won still, but it would have been a lot scarier. I would have had to deal with being stunned and missing a turn, and I wouldn't have haste for the rest of the fight. I might have to waste another potion of speed. With Water Elemental, I teleport down and used this ability again to get ice on the ground. She does have a nasty counter, so once again, having your ads eat those counters is also very important, because now I'm free to blast. I use Artistry of War first. Let's look at the I want to get rid of this ad before I get rid of her, so I end up focusing on the ad. Oh wait, no. I get 1 on the ad and then the rest on her. Okay. And now I think I focus on the ad after this. Free cast. So free cast is an Illithid power. The staff also has the same ability, which I used already. So I will do an upcast magic missile here, and I end up wanting to take the ad out, I realized. Because of the stun, I don't want to get stunned. I think the stun is always going to go towards me because I'm concentrating on haste. So I do get the ad down, and look at that. Orin's health is already nearly halfway gone. She just absolutely smokes all of my ghouls here, except one survives. Uses a Sanguine Animation, which just resurrects an enemy. It's nothing to be too scared of. So back to it again. We use our normal Winter's Breath, or whatever it's called, and get some ice under. And then blast away with, I don't know why I'm deciding here. Fully upcast. She gets proned. Fully upcast again. And fingers crossed. She's still alive. But watch what happens on her turn here. Because of the reverb stacks and everything else, her turn gets skipped. I don't know if it's because she's on ice too, but her turn actually got skipped there. So the rest of this is trivial. I can use a level 1. I fly down into range. You can see me trying to stay at max range so that she doesn't come up and fear me. But we do get the kill. Let's go. The toughest fight of the whole run. We made it quite easy, thanks to a rune powder bomb. And now it's time to take the Netherstone and return to Gortash. So Gortash is going to ask us to give him the Netherstone. It's a bluff. He's testing you to see if you have the stones, pun intended, to stand up for yourself. So stand up for yourself and say you're going to keep the stone, and he'll agree to join you. And then you head off to the Netherbrain, and he tries to control the Netherbrain here. And it doesn't work out well for him.
The next order to be given is mine, and it is this. Die.
R.I.P. Bozo. We try to pass this 99 stealth check here. And we get it. I didn't have any inspiration. This was first try. I've never done this before, as far as I remember. I've never passed this check. Absolutely amazing. We light up the Netherbrain. And now we're going to free Orpheus with the Orphic Hammer that we got from Raphael earlier. The Emperor's mad. Who cares? Stay mad. You're a weirdo. You tricked me into falling in love with Muscle Mommy. So we free Orpheus, and he immediately offers to become a Mind Flayer. He's been imprisoned forever, and then he's immediately gonna make a sacrifice. Doesn't even get to go watch a movie or have a snack or anything. He just immediately goes into Mind Flayer mode. Now, the easy way to get through this gauntlet is just cast invisibility on yourself and on Orpheus and run right up the pipe. If you try to run along the side, there are some enemies that can see through invis, but if you just run right up the middle, none of them can. You can run through the spectator's aura and everything there. You're fine. And I'll go ahead and reset invisibility here. You probably can make it all the way, but I wanted to catch my breath, and I was like, I have potions, why not use them? And now we'll continue heading up. It forces you into turn-based mode, but you can immediately exit turn-based mode. Just don't get hit by the crazy these things. Just get out of it quickly. We do make it up to the top and sneak past these guys, and we get to the stem of the Elder Brain. Now, the reason I chose Gale is because he gets the option to just blow up the Netherbrain. I don't have to do anything. I could just have him blow himself up and I win. So, do I do that? I should have, but instead I just go for it. I'm like, let's fight him. But I immediately notice a mistake here. I needed an Elixir of Vigilance on Orpheus. He needs to be on the same turn as Gale so he can use Perilous Strikes as a buff for our damage. I did pre-buff with Perilous Strikes, but I could have had 2 more stacks of Perilous Strikes from Orpheus on turn 1, and I would have been able, especially with magic missiles, I would have been able to take out the dragon and the Emperor in 1 turn very easily. Instead, I mean, you can see still with just those 2 stacks, I get a ton of damage off, and I am able to take out the dragon, but I have to waste 2 level 6 slots on it. Yeah, with none to spare. Dragon goes down, though, fortunately. And then on Orpheus's turn, I do put 2 more stacks of Fierce Perilous Strikes on Gale. It's just extremely strong, especially when you have a multi-hit build like this. There's no reason not to use it. And we're just going to kind of slowly move up the side of the map here. On my second turn with Gale, we were able to finish off the Emperor. I think I went extra on this. I didn't need to use all of these hits. Yeah. You see, he's probably dead by like the 3rd or 4th missile there. So then I don't have much else to do this turn, so I clear out the Dream Guardian and a bunch of tentacles, and then I move Gale up the side here as well. Not much happens here. Oh, one thing is I realize on this next turn that I have a problem. And that's that we don't have anything except for Gale and Orpheus left. So I need some extra targets for the Elder Brain to focus on and for the Mind Flayers to Magic Missile. So I use my next turn, both actions, summoning ads. I use it, the Hell Riders, and then I also use it on the Watch. And this just gives a bunch of extra bodies. And this is my biggest takeaway from learning how to do a solo honor mode run. Having extra bodies is the key. Anytime that you can have allies in a fight, anytime you can have summons in a fight, it's all extremely helpful. It's not for damage, it's just so enemies have something to focus on. Now, Orpheus is locked in. He's gonna go into the Netherbrain area right after this. So, but because I didn't give an Elixir of Vigilance to him, we're not on the same turn here. And my turn is first, which means he's going to go inside, and it's going to set the timer for 5 turns, and I'm not going to be able to do anything with Gale. So what I decide to do is break my haste intentionally here, because I want to take the lethargic turn now. And then Orpheus is able to go in on the next turn. I don't have much to do, but you can see the Elder Brain is already... Yeah, the brain is weakened. I don't know if he says that if you don't roll the 20. But yeah, you can see that he's taken some damage. I try a Mind Blast here, and apparently I'm above him. I should have gone down to the next level with Orpheus there. So I do 0 damage on the first turn. And then I'm able to get in with Gale, but I have to waste the first turn because I forgot to activate my staff. So I try to use a Potion of Speed because I'm like, okay, 3 turns, Potion of Speed will last 3 turns, perfect. I try to use Magic Missiles here. I want to use it on the odd number so that I'll have it available on turn with 1 turn left. He kills my Potion of Speed. His reaction or whatever makes my Potion of Speed make me lethargic. Once again, I'm not able to use 2 actions on my second turn here. I used Scorching Rays, and I can't use it again. I'm so befuddled here. We only have 1 turn left, and he's still got way too much health. So, I go to my scrolls, and I decide to try a Scroll of Disintegrate, which can do 50 or 100 damage. It's 80% to do 100 damage, and of course he saves. So it only does 50 damage. I'm screwed. I can't use an extra action. I got nothing left here. So I try Mind Sanctuary. It's very buggy, so I don't really rely on it too much, but I don't have anything else I can do here. I have to go for it. So I use Mind Sanctuary, and I'm like, can I get an extra action, please? And sure enough, I get an extra action. Now, Scroll of Disintegrate, if I cast that, I have a 75% chance to kill, but I'm thinking, I think Magic Missiles will do better. So I can't upcast it because I don't have Arcane Battery or Free Cast left, so I have to go with a rank 4. And I'm thinking this should be enough. I've done this much damage before with it. I mean, it's only 97 health, and I've got my Cold a Week. It only drops him to 38. And now Doom sets in. I'm like, I should have just taken the explosion path. What am I going to do? Orpheus can't do anything. I'm looking through all of his abilities. They're all psychic. And I double check, and sure enough, yeah, this turn he has psychic immunity because I used psychic damage last turn. He literally has nothing except psychic damage, and then I think Force Tunnel just doesn't do enough force damage. So I am feeling doomed right now. This is it. I only have Orpheus's action, otherwise I lose. And I learned something very important here. So on top of Elixir of Vigilance, I learned something else that will make this fight a lot easier in the future. I'm like, can I give him a scroll? Can I throw it on the ground? You can cast scrolls from Gale's inventory with Orpheus. So I'm suddenly like, I got this. Scroll of Disintegrate. Doesn't matter if it resists or saves or not. We are gonna get the kill here, and we win. Orpheus comes in clutch. We win. We beat Honor Mode with Gale. And you've been watching for this long. I just want you to enjoy the treat of seeing Gale's God of Ambition ending. I'll have a little bit of closing commentary at the end, but yeah, just enjoy this cutscene.
You will salvage the stones and reforge the crown. The power of Netheril in your hands at last. The Cursite weave palpates within you, stirred by the very prospect. Once the crown is restored, you could return it to Mystra, fulfilling her wishes and ridding the mortal world of such temptation. Or you could take control of it for yourself and become a god. One way or another, you will have to reckon with your god. It's time to speak to Mystra.
So, Gale of Waterdeep, you have become the inheritor of Karsus's powers at last. Tell me, what do you intend to do with them? Ambition. A fitting domain. For that is the only thing you will have to offer your worshippers. Know this, the Weave will never answer to you. Set your ambition to that purpose, and you will feel the wrath of a true god. One worthy of the name.
And with that, Gale becomes the God of Ambition. Thank you so much for watching this. It was quite a journey. It took me many attempts to figure this routing out. Thanks for listening to me blabber for 2 hours, and hopefully there will be another solo Origin playthrough. I'm having a lot of fun with these. See you guys next time. Bye.